We are. I think. There we go. One sec. Let me put on some music. There we go. Perfect. Hello everyone, my name is Nutmeg and welcome to tonight's Just Cooking and Chatting stream. It is Thursday, June 5th. I have some good news for y'all. I've changed my setup a little bit. Hey Banana, how are you? Happy Thursday. Well, I don't need to say it anymore because, well, it is summer. I assume most of you are out of school. If you are in summer school, then my condolences. Hey Lucifer, welcome. You are first. Well, technically you're after Banana, but welcome. I saw your message on Discord, and yes, I am proud of myself for responding in a relatively timed manner. And I have played The Dark Deception. I am waiting on the last 3 chapters, so obviously I don't need to play the first couple of chapters again. But I find it quite intriguing, it's quite interesting. It's 3D Pac-Man with a side of horror. I think from now on, if you add horror to almost anything that I am somewhat okay with, so maybe rail shooting, then I think I'm going to be very interested. Speaking of which, guys, I have a surprise for you. I know my setup right now looks pretty basic. First for YouTube, yes, Lucifer. Horror Pokemon? Hey, if there's actually horror and Pokemon that goes together, I'm not talking about the cheesy peasy Pokemon anime stuff. And I mean genuine horror, as in there's blood, there's murder, there's psychological torture. Of course I'm gonna be interested. Why wouldn't I be interested, right? It could be a fan game, you never know. Is it gonna be a Five Nights at Ash Ketchum? 5 Nights at Pallet Town? 5 Nights in Pokemon? 5 Nights with Pikachu? If there is, I'm interested. Speaking of which, I am gonna cook some tacos tonight, and I want you guys to be prepared for this. Check this out. First is this. Yes, I can actually stand. So right now, my cooktop is actually right in front of my computer and my screen. So this way, I can actually look down on my food like this, while also reading chat. So let me know if the volume is actually okay, or do I need to turn it up a notch. The second thing is, there you go, an over-the-top camera, so I don't have to worry about anything. If I move the table or anything like that, it's not gonna shake like last time. Being honest, you don't like tacos? And yeah, he can stand? I know, this is what it looked like. By the way, serious question. Someone on YouTube called me chunky. Am I that bad? Be honest, I don't mind it. I'm trying to lose weight anyway, so. The only horror like Pokemon game is a game on itch.io when you have to get through the mansion full of Ghastly and Haunters. Ghastly alert the Haunter and the Haunter kill you. Makes you restart. Huh. Awesome. That's good to know. I might play that then. Put it in the recommendation. I'm average. That makes, well, that's good to hear you say that. I do think I'm a little bit on the weight side. For an Asian, I am definitely on the thick side. But yeah, it was one guy on my Elden Ring video who I've said, I think he wanted to start arguing with me by how I had a couple of opinions about Elden Ring being a little bit unbalanced, and I think he took it a little bit too personally. And as soon as he started to criticize me, he started throwing some insults at my looks. I was like, this has got to be like an 8 or 10-year-old or something like that. Someone with not a very developed brain cycle. So, well, let's humor him for a little bit. So there you go. But yes, I don't think I'm that bad. At least compared to the average Americans, I should say. Anyways, don't worry, you might like this taco. This is a very simple taco, and I'm just cooking it because it is very cheap. Dun. Let's begin, shall we? We got an onion, we got cilantro, we got some cheap ass flour tortillas, and we got, I forgot what this is. This is either ground pork or ground beef, one or the other, doesn't matter. And then this is my secret ingredient, rendang paste. I actually use this in my restaurant, believe it or not, and I just can't get enough of it. Okay, this is the secret to a lot of the. If you're like me and broke and you don't have and you want flavorful food, use something like this, like a curry sauce, pre-made, and you just have to add it in, and it's delicious. There's nothing wrong with it because everyone in, I think this is made in Singapore, Malaysia, excuse me, and they use it daily because nobody has their goddamn time to make fresh curry paste. So yeah. Geometry Dash, $5 on Steam. You know what would be better than $5? Free. I'm just kidding. I'll get to it eventually. Just put it in the recommendation section. But right now, this is what I like to do. At least with the food, I can justify my prices, right? Where a game right now, today, they're a lot more expensive than I like to pay, and not as much value on return. That's all. Maybe I'll evolve from a gaming streamer to a purely cooking streamer. I wouldn't mind that, actually. Something about just cooking can be a kind of a game. Alright. Let's chop the onions. Oh, you know what? This is actually quite nice. I like the fact that I can actually not only talk, but also hear some good music. And see, this actually makes cooking a little bit more enjoyable than I thought. Anyways, right now I'm just making some simple tacos. I'm gonna make the garnishes first, which is just onions. Man, it's been a while since I cooked this. It's not bad. It's not difficult. It's just that I haven't cooking on a plastic table like this. It's a little bit wobbly. This is why when you go to a restaurant or in a kitchen like that, in a proper kitchen, you have a very stable metal or concrete table. But don't worry, I haven't cut myself. Not with a knife, but I did when I was in the restaurant, and I almost sliced off my middle finger. That's a true story. And that was actually when I was doing the, you know, those machines that with the wheel on there. I don't know what they're slicers, and you slice meat that are really into really thin pieces. My middle finger almost came right off the tip, the top, but because it went through, I think, almost the middle part, but because the cut was so clean, I didn't really feel that much pain. It was more like, it was like stingy and then painful. And then I thought I was gonna have to amputate it or something, but I put some Band-Aid on it, disinfected it, and then maybe about 2 weeks later, good as new. I was very surprised by that. Hey, Wooly, what's up? And Seabat, how are you? Bling Bling Torn Torn, what's up? I am making some tortillas, or excuse me, some tacos for tonight. My mom doesn't want me to cook since she's already eaten, so this is just my thing. Prepping very simple and cheap meals for someone like us who are broke and streamers. You guys can follow this quote-unquote recipe. There is no recipe, by the way. It is mainly just, how do I say it? Just cook whatever is left in your fridge and whatever looks cheap. So usually the garnishes for my tacos, I just like two things: white onion and cilantro. That's it. You can add as little or as much as you want. Some people say cilantro tastes like soap. I never understood that, but then again, I'm Asian. Cilantro is pretty much a guaranteed in Asian culture. And that's it. That's gonna be my garnish. I'm only making taco because I am a taco lover. I'm in Texas, but by the way, of course we love tacos. The other reason is, you know, it's very simple to make. It's like a cheap sandwich. Doesn't need to be expensive at all. So I'll turn the heat on. Go. Good knife skill. It's better than what you're looking at, to be honest, Wooly. You know why? Because I am cooking on this blasted table. It's a little bit too low for me, so I kind of have to kneel down a little bit. And also, it's the thing with the plastic table. This is a picnic table, so it's wobbly. The last thing you want is when you're cutting something is the table to be wobbling, because you can cut yourself very easily. So that's why I cut a little bit slower. Cell will cook Sakuna, maybe. Perfect cell for Ryomen Sakuna. I know cell, but I'm not familiar with Sakuna. And I'm just gonna use a spoon. This brings me back all the way to my old days in the dorm, where I had to quote unquote improvise. And that's how I got into cooking, guys. Is that it's either spending $5, which is actually quite a bit for my time. $5 right now is like nothing. You need at least $10, right? But for me, during my dorm, it's either Whataburger, which costs quite a bit, or dorm food, which tastes exactly like the food I had when I was in the military. I swear to God, if you guys ever been to a dorm in, let's say, your first year, your freshmen, and you're going to eat in the school cafeteria, all that food, the mashed potatoes, the corn, the beans, and whatever crap, unless you go to a very prestigious college like, I don't know, Harvard or Columbia or something like that. I was at Purdue, and the food tastes, I wouldn't say rancid, but it is exactly like the food I had in the military. So I did not want to have it. And for the fact that I had to pay for it pissed me off. So. Cilantro tasting like soap is a generic thing for some people. Yeah, I don't mind it. I mean, there are some things. I have a very diverse palate. For example, I love durian. I love stinky tofu. And I can handle a lot of spice. Again, my mom does not like stinky tofu, nor can she handle spicy food. So there's that. You can fillet fish better than Gordon Ramsay. Hey, I'd like to see you try. He is a world-renowned chef, so if you can do anything in the kitchen better than him, you're pretty much ahead of, I would say, maybe at least 50% of the population, you know? How tall am I? Need to know if you are taller or shorter than you or the same height. I'm 5'10", 178 centimeters if you're in Asia and you use centimeters instead of foot, and like us in America. I'm 5'10". So I'm pretty average for an Asian height, but I am actually, depending on where you are. So for those of you who don't know this, right? You guys know I was born in China, but I was born in the southern part of China, where where all the near Vietnam and those countries, right? So I am considered actually above average, quite above average for my height, because most people around my town are like 5'6", 5'7", males. But then when I moved to Shanghai, I was more or less just became average, because if you are in the north, you are considered a little bit taller. Like one of my cousins, he's like 6'2". So I'm just considered average. Purdue military, Willie, how deep does this lore go? It's not really a lore, it's just my life. You don't have to take it too seriously. But thanks, Willie. I'm honored that you considered it a lore. If you want to ask me about my college life, go ahead. It wasn't very pretty, though. It wasn't very pretty. And I dropped out. And trust me, one of the most painful memories was me deciding to drop out of college or switching schools because the tuition was just too high, you know? You know, a 14-year-old is 6'6". Well, he better play basketball then. The thing is with all of my friends is that most of them are taller than me. Granted, most of my friends are actually white and are Caucasian. Some of them are my height, but most of them are like 6 foot, 6'1" or something like that. Except for the Hispanics. Most Hispanics are not that tall. That's what I find. You almost one-shot a Pokemon you really want. Which one? The only Pokemon that I have not caught on my DS, which is the last Pokemon that I played, was Entei. I've caught every single Pokemon in that game. Well, legendary ones at least. It took me forever to catch that damn, what is it, Latios or Latias? I think it's Latias. Soul Silver is the one that I played. Short King? Is that right? I mean, it depends on who you date. Most Asian girls are rather short. They're like, my mom is like 5'4", 5'5". So, and my dad is like 5'6", 5'7". So for me to go all the way up to like 5'10", I guess it's because the nutritional value of the American food system. You can say that. American food system is a lot more protein-based, fat-based, which is great. Not as much vegetables, though. Man, this stove sucks. All I'm cooking right now is just hamburger meat. You're Hispanic and you're 5'10"? Didn't say all Hispanics are short. It's just the ones that I've met. You're either taller than me or you're short, or they're shorter than me. But the ones who are short, they're like buffy. The taller ones are a little bit on the lanky side. Regigigas? Oh yeah, that's Slowpoke. Slow ass poke. Is that right, Banana? Rarity in your family. Well, keep it that way though. I am actually considered good looking in my family. So my mom has 2 brothers. She's the middle child. The elder brother has my uncle, the bigger uncle has 1 child, shorter than me. And then, but for some reason, my mom's younger brother, my younger uncle, that cousin, he's actually taller than me. Granted, he's also very lanky, like skinny. Has a big head too. But I can definitely say, if you're talking about it in terms of the look department, I definitely have the wins. I'm not saying that to be mean, it's just that it's the truth. Hell, even my family member commented on it. As for my dad's side, he's the oldest, so he has 2 younger brothers, and both of them had daughters. They're pretty, so, you know, take it with what you will. One of them got married and has a kid, and the other one, I think, just got married. Not exactly sure. I'm glad they're married. You have no idea how bad it is, the dating market right now here in the Asian market. And if compared to here, if you think over here the dating market is bad, over there it's even worse. Just imagine it, guys. If you ever consider a girlfriend, there are certain expectations, you know what I mean? I'm good looking? Gee, thanks. Alright, turn the heat down. Deglaze the pan. I should use stock, but I don't have any stock, so I'm just going to use the cheapest thing on the menu, which is water. At least with this, I can actually call myself that I'm actually cooking, because I'm in the Twitch section of cooking category. I was afraid someone's going to report me for not being in the right category when I'm just doing just chatting. There you go, guys. Use this. Use this. This is called rundown paste. And it's extremely spicy, but extremely flavorful. My mom cannot handle this, but I can. It's got a bunch of spices in there that I don't even want to get into. Lemongrass, garlic, galangal, and all that stuff. And don't be ashamed about using this. This is no different than, say, someone using Say if you go into Walmart and you probably pick up one of those canned tomato sauces, or maybe those Alfredo sauces. Yes, you can. Those well, maybe it's not the same because those sauces are much easier to make. Where this, I mean, look at the ingredients here: kaffir, lime leaf, galangal, lemongrass, garlic, turmeric, leaf, tamarind. All this other stuff is in there. So, I'm just saying, I can't get all that stuff in, let's say, your local Kroger. Okay, so I have no problem using the paste. And look at that. It is super flavorful. You can use this paste to make, I use it to make, what is that? Here, help me out here, Wooly. Barilla taco? Like the ones where you, Barilla taco, I think it's called. I don't know the name. But it's the one where they dip it in, they take the beef, put it in stock, slow cook it so it becomes, and then afterward they shred it, and then they use the stock to dip that taco in, and then they fry the shell with that hot red layer of fat. Really delicious. I use this to make my own version because the ones that in my local Mexican restaurant, they make it, but it's like $12 for like 3 or 4 tacos. I was like, okay, this is enough. I should try to make this on my own. You can buy pig's feet? Of course you can. Just depends on where you are. It's called pig's trotter. Sounds better than called pig's feet. Alright, that's pretty much it. And that's the dinner. You can make about 2-3 tacos with this. Now usually, I don't like eating this right out of the package, but because my microwave is all the way across the living room and in the kitchen, because usually what you should do is wrap it in a wet towel, put it in the microwave for 30 seconds. That way you can get a nice, steamy, soft burrito or shell. But in this case, I'm just gonna go straight in. Pig's feet is not that hard to find. People do eat it. I eat it. And it's actually pretty delicious if you know how to cook it correctly. There you go. There's your taco. And then a little bit of lime, or excuse me, cilantro and onions. Oh shoot. Damn it, I forgot lime. Oh well. Limes were looking pretty expensive today anyway, so maybe that's why I didn't get it. But there you go. You can make about 2-3 tacos out of this. Oh yeah. Spicy. Savory. Crunchy. You don't need hot sauce for this. You maybe want to put some sriracha on there, but a good taco, really, in my opinion, doesn't really need the sauce. I admit it's my fault for forgetting the lime because it does need a little bit of acidity. Maybe sea bass. I mean, anyone can come to my house if they know where to live. I'm in the U.S. Excuse me, Texas. That's it for dinner, and it's not too unhealthy. Maybe you can pair this with some. Well, you guys are underage, so Dr. Pepper. If you're over the age of 21, then maybe a beer or something. But I don't drink. You live up north, but I won't say what city or area. I would just say live in Utah. You never heard of pig's feet ever. If you think pig's feet is hard to find, then try and find chicken feet. We do eat chicken feet as well. Here, let me show you. There you go. This is, believe it or not, this is actually one of my favorite dishes of all time. I can eat these like I can eat potato chips. They're so good. This is a delicacy. Would any of you guys want to try? So what they do is that this is actually steamed and then deep fried and then glazed in a sauce. And the texture is very bony and it's very gelatinous because it's the feet part of the chicken, right? So it's kind of like you're supposed to nibble. Like this one looks good, but this one looks amazing. But yes, you can't tell, but it's deep fried. Liver? That sounds good. I don't mind liver. Has to be cow's liver though. Is that right, Lucifer? Oh man. So how much is this cost? I would say less than $3 for dinner. And right now I'm only eating like one meal a day because of my weight. I do need to slim down, so I do need to slim down, believe it or not. But you can also add some like corn or maybe, I don't know, chili flakes if you like. But it's just missing some lime, some acidity, and that's pretty much it. I hope none of the Hispanics that take offense to my my recipe. This is more like just tacos on a budget, you know? It's not supposed to be taken too seriously, and it's not supposed to say this is nowhere near authentic. Fish eyes. I'll take that. Yep. Hi, Crack, what's up? I'm actually legit starting turning into a cooking streamer now. I got my camera set up all the way up, and I can cook while talking to you guys, and I can eat and talking to you guys. So this might be the new norm. It's a lot easier on me, and it's a lot cheaper on me. Fatty? Ha ha ha. I like to see what you look like, Crack. Don't worry about it, Seabass. Crack is just like that. Don't take him too seriously. He's one of those trolls that you love. Well, love to hate. Hate to love. But he means no harm. Speaking of which, I went to Walmart to buy all these ingredients. Obviously, you can see the freaking shell is from Walmart. It's great value. No Nintendo Switch 2, by the way. I've looked at it. Imagine watching your weight, skill issues. You're right. Despite my looks, I am above average, and I am overweight, but I do need to lose about 30 pounds. I'm 5'10", currently right around 207 or 208, right around there. I gotten as big as 230 because I just love food. Man, dry shell sucks. That's good, Seabass. But after being in bed for like, I don't know, almost 1.5 months, you know. Jesus, you're small, Seabass. Love ya. Sometimes I wish I was super skinny. Believe it or not, my mom said that back in high school I was extremely skinny. Not to the bone, not like XQC skinny, but I was skinny. It's only when you get to the military that I buffed up. Not just in terms of muscle, but because of the food they feed you. It's high carbs, okay? High carbs. So in the morning, I remember like pancakes. It's pancakes. What is it? Orange juice, milk, bacon, scrambled eggs, an apple, a banana, and I think there was, oh, that's right, biscuits and gravy. I had about 5 minutes to eat that. So when you're in the military, once you get your food in the line, put your food down, you have 5 minutes to eat. And if you don't, throw it all away. And because breakfast is everyone's favorite, we had to eat a lot because, well, you don't know if your meal is going to be any good. Like if you're lunch, like if we're out and training in the mountains, you're gonna get something called field chow, which is crappy food, like reheated microwave garbage in a trailer, and it sucked. So you want to get as much food in you in the morning as possible. So I ate all of that in 5 minutes. I remember eating with my face on my plate, and my drill sergeant took notice of me, unfortunately. Always making fun of how I eat. And that's where I buffed up, both in terms of muscle and in terms of, well, carbs. Because after basic training, they still feed you the same food. You don't need to eat as much. You actually get like maybe 15 minutes to eat. But by then, it was already kind of a habit. So when I got home, I didn't train as much. That's where I bulked up, fattened up. So there you go. Crack, I wish I had your metabolism. I really do. No, my dog wants something. She always wants something. She wants either attention or good food. Right now she's not eating any. She doesn't really eat the dog food. She's more into like what we eat. For example, yesterday, if you guys were here, I cooked a nice piece of salmon for my mom. Half of that salmon went to Nana, my dog. She just couldn't get enough. And right now she has a new taste, which is mozzarella, as in fresh mozzarella cheese. She can't stop eating it. Every time she sees me eating like a piece of mozzarella, she wants like half of it at least. Craig, you're asking, does chicken feet actually taste good? That's a good question. To me, it's my favorite. One of my favorite dishes of all time. The issue with chicken feet is not really the flavor. Because if you look at this, the sauce, right? It's really just a sweet soy sauce based. It's just a sweet soy sauce sauce. It's sweet and savory, made from like sugar and soy sauce. What you might not enjoy is actually just the texture. Half of my Asian friends like don't like it. Some tolerate it. I'm one of the few that actually really love it. As for all of my Caucasian friends and minorities, including Hispanics, none of them enjoyed it because there's like, I think it's just the bony cartilage, very. Because if you ever had pig's feet, it's very gelatinous. Same thing here. You just have to chew on it, like nibble on the gelatinous cartilage part, and then you spit the bones out. That is not an American thing, okay? I don't know. That's mainly a Chinese thing. I don't even think the Japanese are into that. So this is one of our delicacies that you either really love like me, or you really don't. Yeah, pretty much, Seabass. And here's another one. I'll give you an example. I love this one. It's this century egg. What do you think of that? Give me your opinion of this thing. I actually really like this. It looks pretty, right? Or does it look rancid? Give me your honest thoughts. Well, this is called century egg. It is an egg made of ducks because the duck's egg yolk is a lot more intense in flavor. You want to give it a try? That's good. Because this is what you do is you take the duck egg and you put it in, you preserve it, right? You put it in some kind of salt preservative. I don't remember how it's made, but it's put in some kind of preservative for a long time, and it's very salty. And what happens is the egg white becomes translucently amber, and then the egg yolk, yes, it's kind of like it smells rotten. It does smell rotten, but it's got this very deep umami taste. I cannot explain it unless you eat it, because it's kind of like one of those very strong cheese. It doesn't taste like cheese, but it's like got the same concept of a very strong aged cheese. And I understand if the smell completely puts you off, but usually you eat this with something called porridge, which is just overcooked rice pudding. That's it. This is extremely good. Okay. I cannot stress this enough. And then there's also the other ones like moon. None of my friends tried this, by the way. It's not easily accessible. I think you might get it in the Asian market, but you know, I mean, not many people buy this. Another delicacy would be moon cake. Porridge is in the US. No, not really. Porridge, you don't really need to buy it. It's literally just white rice, but instead of like the normal amount of water you put in a rice cooker, just double the amount of water. So it's like overcooked rice. It's what we used to eat when we were poor, because it's the most affordable thing to eat. And then we eat like a bowl of porridge in use, and then like a little bit of pickled radish here and there, a little bit. And if you have century egg, then yeah, that's like a gourmet feast for us. My mom's food, what she said, in fact, back in the days, before I was even born, when I asked my mom, she said that during her time, you know, during when China was really poor, the most luxurious thing that she can eat for like the entire week is basically a bowl of steamed rice covered in lard. If you don't know what lard is, it's pork fat, roasted pork fat. Just a spoonful of pork fat on there. That's it. And then just a little bit of pickled vegetables, daikon or whatever, radish, a little bit of cucumbers, and that's it. We couldn't afford meat back there. So imagine the shock that my parents felt when they came here and they went to the supermarket. Shelves and shelves of chicken breast, pork, beef, whatever you want, seafood. It was pretty eye-opening for us. So, I never seen it. I mean, I guess I got used to it. I didn't suffer that much like my parents. But they had the brunt of it back when China was very poor. And I remember this. Oh, I might as well share this story with you guys. I'm sure if you guys might know oats instead of rice. Really? Well, I guess it's the same concept, but that's like saying a very overcooked risotto. Sounds miserable. Trust me, it wasn't actually. I asked them. They said that because in a communist society, you don't know what's out there. You know? It's kind of like that concept where people say that when they go to Africa, they see these kids, they have nothing but a soccer ball, and they don't have any clothes, and they live in a hut. But they were super happy at some of the most simplest things. Same thing with my parents. They said, you know, they didn't have toys. They were just making games on their own, but they went outside and hung out and just chatted. It was a very, very simplistic life. And I would say right now it's the opposite with Americans. I mean, we are more blessed than anything else, everywhere else in the world. You go in the supermarket and buy whatever you want. Technology, you can play any games, look at whatever videos you want. Adult entertainment to cartoons, whatever you like. There's just so many options, yet I feel like with the social media and everything, everyone feels a lot more disconnected than ever. I would never imagine myself, you know, talking to people online, but that's just the way it is. Quaker's Oats? Yeah, I know what that is. Oh, where was I? I was going to tell you guys this story about my family. This is according to my mom. And what happens is that she did not... I'm sure some of you know the guy's name, right? Mao, one of those communist revolutionaries. Mao, when he took over China and took power, basically everyone has to obey him. It becomes a truly communist state. The communist revolution, it started with him. And what happens is that he took over, he basically said that he took all the lands and the properties of all the people who are wealthy and gave it to the poor, everyone else. Basically kind of like Bernie Sanders or something like that. And my mom's family was actually one of the wealthier ones, quite wealthy. My mom obviously never experienced this, but she heard it from my grandma. And she was, when that happened, she was still maybe like in 6 or 8 years old. But she still remembers that feeling of the people came through them. They had servants, by the way. And they lived in a large house with servants. I wouldn't say as big as, say, I don't know, Trump's mansion in Mar-a-Lago, but it's still a pretty big house. I don't have any pictures, I don't have any proof. But this is just from secondhand, third-hand information from my mom, and mom heard it from my grandma. The day that all those people threw her entire family out, she was the youngest, and I remember like they were just ransacking everything or just taking everything. And then her uncle, who protested, unfortunately was literally beaten to death on the street for, I don't know, not following in line. I asked my mom how did my grandma's parents get so wealthy. Apparently she said that they were spice traders, I think. Because back in the day, you know, in China we used soy sauce because we can brew it. Things like sugar and salt was very hard to come by, and they were very expensive. So they were in that trade, and they did very well. So yeah, that was quite a story. The house is obviously not there anymore, and I don't have any proof of it. It was very, very long. And yes, my grandmother also lived through the World War II when the Japanese took over. She said that there was like that night or in the afternoon when her parents literally grabbed her and they had to run into the mountain to avoid the Japanese because they were basically killing and, you know, assaulting, you know, AS. Well, the R word, you know what I mean, everyone. So my grandma's probably lived through a very, very long and harsh life. So if you think that if you think my mom's life was, you know, poor, my grandma had it probably worse. So that's why every time I thought about complaining about my life where things are not going well, I think about those moments and I just think like, what rights do I have to complain compared to what they went through? So. 20 years ago? Is that right, Crack? Speaking of which, Crack, I was wondering if you are interested in the Switch 2. I was actually going to watch this video. I don't really care about the unboxing. I just want to see what it's like. So I have not seen any unboxing videos. Yeah, I know. A streamer. I mean, if you tell my grandma what the hell a streamer is, she probably thought you were high. Not to mention people making money off of it. I'm not making money off of it. Right now, I'm just using it to kill time and hang out with you fun
When
folks.
you decide to step up to this kind of play, this kind of fun, this kind of experience,
Holy! Hey guys!
let the games begin. Nintendo Switch 2.
I mean, if I had to choose between going through the tough time of today's society, not finding a wife and girlfriend, not having kids, couldn't afford a mortgage, at least I get to eat, at least I get to stream, at least I can watch videos, at least I can go to Starbucks, which I don't because I don't drink Starbucks. Compared to what my mom and my grandma went through, no. And if you're curious on how my dad's family is, they weren't rich. They were farmers. They were like bottom feeders.
All right.
What's up,
It's
Dave?
finally here.
McDonald's?
Nintendo sent
I'm
this
eating
box
something
over,
better.
and inside this box is our Nintendo Switch 2. It's our $449 Nintendo Switch 2. Actually, there's a bunch of stuff in this box. There is the Nintendo Switch 2 plus the Mario Kart World bundle. That's $4.99. There's also a Switch 2 camera in here, which is $55. There's also a Switch 2 Pro controller, which is $85. And there's a physical copy of Mario Kart World, which would be $80 if you got one, which we'll need to play today because the digital copy doesn't work until tomorrow. So, kind of a pricey box, but let's just jump in.
This is probably one of the best
With none other
jobs
than
in
our
the world.
Ridge MKBHD
Literally
knife,
opening
of
up
course.
the latest technology that everyone
Oh, and
wants.
also, by the way, you've noticed I have over here a Switch 1 and a Switch 1 OLED because I've gotten to compare like back and forth between seeing one and seeing the other, but I want to look at them next to each other. So let's jump in.
Agreed, correct.
Here's the Switch 2 Pro controller. Switch 2. Mario Kart World. There it is.
I really don't need to see the
Joy-Cons.
unboxing. It is
Last
what
but not
it is.
least, the dock.
Self-explanatory.
And there you
I just want to see what the UI, user interface, and it looks a little bit skinnier too. Wider. That's what I expect. You could call this the Switch
Speakers
Deluxe,
are bigger. It's crisp.
and I wouldn't know. I wouldn't question it.
English, yes. The Americas, yes. Accept the agreement, yes. Okay, about to download update data. I heard about this.
All
Just
right,
get a
here
look
we
at
go.
this.
Come on.
So much plastic. This is a massive package for this tiny
What's the
little
point of making it so
cartridge
so
right
big?
here.
then?
But this is the game. Those are your pins.
I remember him, yeah, when he was reviewing iPhones and stuff. I remember him.
There we go. MKBHD is logged in. Very nice.
Be honest, guys. If they came out with a Switch 2 that is not like this, let's say it's 350, and it's just a little bit more powerful than the Switch that we have today, but you get a lot more games, as in there's a new Mario, or a new Zelda, or a next Smash. I'd definitely buy it. For this though, as much as I like Mario Kart World, I don't think it has. It's not as like a console seller as everyone thinks, and this is what I mean. The Mario Kart is the best-selling game on the Switch. There's no denying that, but it is also the most kid-friendly, like the easiest one, the most accessible one. You don't have to be good at the game. I don't think there's like a cult following for Mario Kart. Feel free to let me know if I'm wrong. And I play it just for the enjoyment out of it. I don't know if anyone plays Mario Kart competitively or speedruns Mario Kart. But I've seen speedruns of Mario, I've seen speedruns of Zelda, and Smash is certainly a very competitive game. For me, I always buy a Nintendo console because I want a new Smash. However, they did not only did they not give us a new Smash, they literally did not show anything for Smash Ultimate. There's no Ultimate 2, there's no roster update, there's nothing. Instead, they didn't even show Mario. They just gave us Zelda, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, and it is just an update, as in, okay, hey, you can play this game that you played already at a higher resolution and a higher frame rate. I did not have a problem with the frame rate that much because it's Zelda. It's not super hyper. It's not something like Elden Ring where I have to, it's a super hard game. And not to mention you had to pay for it. To me, that just doesn't sound right to me. I know I'm broke, but at least even if I had the money, I would question, like, why would I pay for this? If I get this right now, the only game that I'm playing as of today is Mario Kart. And that game is something that you either play with friends or you play with people who are online. And right now, I doubt there's that many people, that are playing Mario Kart right now.
More users can be added if the system will be used by other people. Good to know. To Parrots and Guardians, set up your controls.
Oh, I also heard that they said something about there's
Don't have
no
any cards to
reviews
add, but I would if
right
I
now
did.
for
And then
Nintendo won't
set
let
up
us
the
let anyone doing reviews for it.
Great. first look
It's
at
a
the
red
home
flag.
screen on Switch 2.
And I definitely want to see. The
So,
main thing I want
could
to
obviously
ask
jump in
is,
and download an app or
is
game
the
right
online
now, but
capability
I think the
better?
move is
as in if I put Smash Ultimate in, is the online going to be
Straight to
less
Mario
laggy
Kart
or
World.
not that much lag?
Nice.
That's the thing. Okay, so same
Software
UI,
update's available.
same
It'll
user
download it now.
interface.
But I'd like to start the software, please. It's me. Sorry, I should say, it's a me. This new bigger screen.
I'll definitely buy this game, but then again, you're charging me $80 for it. That pisses me off.
7.9-inch display looks way better. 120
Okay.
hertz looks so much better. Turn the speakers down.
And plus, how many of you? I gotta ask.
What I should be
Same
doing
lag?
is comparing it
Oh, come on.
to the
If
other
that's the case,
Switches.
I don't even really
So I'm gonna do
want
that
it.
real quick, just because we actually have them all side by side. So this is the Switch 1. This is my Switch 1.
I don't need to see the side-by-side comparison. I mean, who cares if they look the same or the one's a little bit bigger? I know that. But if they have the same lag, this also concerns me because I know it's an upgrade in terms of the hardware, but if you're talking about, because Nintendo, this is the first system that actually implements the online talking, online chat. They finally got with the 21st century. Congratulations. We had this since, what, PS3. How much of the power does it take away from the system if I'm going to play, say, Smash Online? If I play Smash Online and I say I want to have my friends or doing those, online chatting sessions, does it make the game laggy? Or does it make it even laggier? That's the thing that I want to know for this console. But it seems like right now they're just showing
It's
the
also a colorware
obvious.
Switch 1, so that's why it looks a little different. It's got the paint all over the Joy-Cons and the back, and it looks super sweet. But this is the kickstand.
This is
See
yeah.
this through?
I mean, it's what I expect. It's
That
Mario
is
Kart.
fun. Yeah, these Joy-Cons are so much better than the old ones. Here, I'll just
Okay.
show you.
I expect
We
that
have
because
them.
the
We
old
can actually do a
Joy-Cons
direct
suck.
comparison. You have to pull the little pin in, slot it up like that, and first of all, it's larger, which does make a difference. It's a little more ergonomic, but then also every single button is bigger. The joystick is bigger.
Okay. I like the fact that it's bigger.
I saw that there was a pre-installed screen protector on the Switch, and it's true. I can see it. I'm gonna get a macro shot of it so you can see what I'm seeing.
I heard that they say don't take it
remove
off.
And now that I've seen the instructions, okay, I won't. But if you want to install one on top of it, that's cool too. Like D-Brand has a Prism screen protector you can install on top of this one, and that will hold it and protect whatever's underneath. Now, one of the big Switch 2 talking points, which I mentioned in that last video, was that game that essentially acts as...
Oh yeah, this is actually a game, and they expect us to pay for it. Where PS5, it came free. As this is just...
as a tutorial to learn about your Switch.
Why would I pay
It
for
doesn't
this?
come with it. It's not free, and it's not here. But
It's
there
kinda
are
janky, too.
some built-in tutorial things, like how to use mouse controls. If I pop one of these
That's the only
off,
tutorial that I need. But you know
select
what?
next
I have
and
something
follow
called
the on-screen
YouTube.
guides, put the bumper on.
Hey, what's up, man? How are you? Just finished cooking, made a couple of tacos, and now I'm full.
Oh,
This
there it
meal
is.
cost me about
Shows
$3.
up immediately.
Be
So I don't know
easy
if
to
you can see
make.
that, but I am using
And right now I'm just looking
this
at the
as a controller, and I'm also able to scroll
Switch
inside
review.
windows, which is
By the
kinda
way, I
nice.
checked my local
And of course, I can
GameStop, my
select-
Best Buy, and of course
select-
Walmart and Target.
select
They
using
do not
the
have
top
any
button.
of this
So it
available
works
for stock,
pretty
even though
well.
they're
I think there's gonna be a couple
posters of
games
the
that
Switch 2 is plastered
do
everywhere.
immediately support
None
this
of them
out the
have it.
box, but it's
I'm
probably
guessing
not something a lot of them are expecting to use. Like I did
These,
that
this
wheelchair
game,
soccer
this
game
console
when
is
I
going
was
to be
doing the
available
demo
around
when I first tried the Switch 2, and it
at
worked
least half a
pretty well,
year.
but
At least.
yeah, we'll see what other games end up using that. So for those wondering what the rest of the home screen stuff looks like, because this is also something we haven't seen yet, looks pretty familiar.
And if any of you have a Switch 2,
Picture
let
up
me
at
know
the
how
top,
it
'cause
is.
That's your account, and I'm sure I'll blur my friend code so
With their
nobody
PC
spams
and
me.
PS5, that's
But
how
then,
I
of course,
feel.
your games, and then
Crack.
underneath,
The only
game
difference
chats in there,
is that I kind of
settings are
regret
in
buying
here.
my PS5 because
I
the only
can
game that
go to, let's
I mean,
see,
what's the
can I
exclusive
change
on
my
there?
display refresh
Final Fantasy
rate?
VII Rebirth.
TV resolution.
And I
is
should have waited
automatic,
because if I
but
waited, I would have
up
played it
to
on
4K,
PC.
which is great.
I can't name any other
So it does look like I can
PlayStation exclusive
decide to go
anymore.
down
Unlike
60
back in the day,
hertz.
I got
This
Final
is for
Fantasy,
just
God of War,
TV.
Uncharted, Xbox. You have Halo.
Yeah, I feel like these
and,
new Joy-Cons are almost as
what
much
is
of
it,
an
NBA
upgrade
Street.
as the new screen.
That's way back in the
Just
day.
having these huge
But right
new
now,
buttons, the whole Joy-Con being bigger, ergonomically
PC
it's better, the haptics
has
are
everything.
better.
So right now, I think it
probably
is the best
drop
time
the
to
sound
just
a
get
little
into
bit,
a PC.
But yeah, it is much better to game.
In fact, I would say
on
I'm
an individual Joy-Con with the
a
new
little bit
ones.
late.
So if you're thinking about Switch 2, oh, is that really that much of an upgrade? Is it that different to game on it? It's going to feel different because of the Joy-Cons just as much as the screen. So here's all three Switches all lined up next to each other. Switch 1, OG, Switch OLED, new kickstand, OLED screen, Switch 2. Obviously the biggest difference is just that it's bigger. I mean, just as my first impression, the bigger Joy-Cons make such a big difference, so most people are going to enjoy bigger Joy-Cons and bigger screen. We also are expecting an OLED version later. I'm going to get to much more detail in the full review, but also if you're considering getting a Switch 2, you're
Guys,
probably
I
also
actually
not
want to
getting
ask
case,
you guys a
in
couple
which
of
case
questions.
You should
I'm sure most of you have like at least tried the Switch, right? How many of you guys actually played the Switch on a handheld? I have never done it, unless I tried one time, and that was because I was going to my friend's house flying, and I had like an hour of layover, and that's the only time I played it. I played it for about maybe 15-20 minutes, and I was playing either Luminous or some kind of RPG game. And then afterwards, you played on my phone or just scroll through YouTube. I've never played a Switch on a handheld because, one, people could easily steal it. Someone could just grab it. And two, you have to look at it from the fact that what kind of games do you want to play on a handheld? For me, back in the day, it was always a Game Boy or a DS. So mostly, for me, it's Pokemon. Something very two-dimensional, very simple RPG games that kills a lot of time. I do not want to play shooters. I can't say too much about platforming though. Maybe if I was actually into platforming, but maybe those kind of games. But I just don't feel comfortable playing a console like this in the public. If I was at the airport, that was okay because it's full of security. But if I'm on the train or waiting for the bus or just out in the park, someone can easily come up to me without me noticing. If I'm into the game, they can just snatch up and run away. And I never really understood that. Not to mention the joystick. After like maybe a couple months, my joystick is so bad it started drifting. And I did never want to replace it. The only games that I have, granted, most of the games that I played on my Switch right now that I would consider playing on the handheld would be Fire Emblem, RPG, Dave the Diver, kind of RPG, Stardew Valley, RPG, but I would never play Super Smash Brothers on a handheld. There's no Wi-Fi, and two, I need to play, lags, and the GameCube controller is just irreplaceable. Why would I play any sort of action game on this controller? It hurts my finger if I press it too much. So, DS. Just want to have mine hooked in the living room by fighting games with my mates once in a while. Yeah, I play action games a lot. So for the Switch, I would mainly play RPGs because they're slower. So 30 FPS doesn't really bother me when it comes to RPGs. But if I'm playing an action game, I need 60 minimum. So it doesn't, because there's to lessen the lag. But then again, if I'm gonna play it, I don't think anyone plays Smash or Mario Kart with the quote unquote joysticks or these controllers unless they have no choice. I would always prefer like a Pro controller or just a regular or a GameCube controller. So yeah, my take.
consider the
And also
kill
the
switch
fact
by
that
Channel
Marcus
Sponsored
is
Keybrand.
not really.
So this is the kill switch case.
What the hell is this?
Also, it looks like Dbrand left a note which says, we know there's a lot of features, but they're all pretty important. Think you can try to fit them in the end roll? I'll try. So this is the case. It's got this super rigid travel cover, crush proof.
I don't buy these
tosses
stuff
thing around,
because
which is great.
my
Then,
Switch
with this
doesn't
little
leave my living
bungee,
room.
which is kind of sick. You take the cover off, And in
I don't need to
Solar
really
Mode, the
see
joy
this.
hold, kind of like a real mouse in the hand. You can still put the
hell?
bumpers on and use it as a. This thing is a tank, so yeah. If you're gonna travel, which experiences I should
Yeah, yeah,
catch you in
yeah.
the next one.
And this is another concern for me. See, Mark has usually not only reviewed this, he only reviewed like the basics, which is the physical stuff, and then he just showed off Mario Kart. He did not go over any sort of the online capabilities. Is it laggy when I'm playing a lot Mario Kart? Is it laggy if I play Super Smash? He didn't even show us the difference between Zelda on the Switch 1 OLED and this one. I'm not blaming him, but I think this is a Nintendo issue. And to me, anytime a company that doesn't let you do a full-on review like this is a red flag. The last one that I had experience like this was Cyberpunk 2077. They did not allow reviews to go online until the game was released for a good reason. So, yeah. Oh, man. Good video. I liked it. But nothing really in there that I didn't already know. They didn't show off anything. I need like a little bit less biased review because he was just there to just reiterate everything that Nintendo already talked about. But we'll see. Well, guys, that was pretty fun for me. Just cooking, chatting with you guys, and watching some videos. Crack, I hope you can join my Discord because you're definitely a character that I would love to have in my community. If you don't, that's fine with me. And feel free to come in the chat like this, which I am alone by now. This is a voice chat. Come in, give me some recommendation in terms of topics, videos, or any games that you guys want. For example, I mean, Lucifer just recommended me Dark Deception, but I've already played it. So, yeah. Alright, guys. Thank you so much for coming in tonight. I hope you guys had a good time. Tomorrow we will be going back to Five Nights at Wario's 2. I thought I was going to be finished with that game, but it turns out Deflect wanted me to play the classic mode as well. So after that, we'll go back, and then afterwards, Saturday, we'll go back to Wario's